It's 3 a.m. You're pulled out of a dead sleep by that familiar pressure. You shuffle to the bathroom in the dark, half asleep, eyes barely open. You go. And here's the strange part. It's often a lot. Not a few drops, a full bladder's worth. Then it's back to bed, hoping you fall asleep before the alarm. Maybe it's once, maybe 2 or 3 times a night. And every trip is stealing the deepest, most restorative part of your sleep. So you do the logical thing. You cut off water early, and you assume your bladder is shrinking, getting weak, getting old. But here's the twist that changes everything. For a huge number of people, this was never a bladder problem at all. Your bladder might be perfectly fine. The real issue is upstream. Your body is simply making too much urine at night. It's not a storage problem. It's a production problem. And production is controlled by hormones and fluid, not by the size of your bladder. There's even a medical name for it: nocturnal polyuria. Too much urine made at night specifically. Once you understand why your body overproduces at night, you'll know exactly what to change, and, just as important, when it's worth seeing a doctor. Let's break it down. Start with a number that surprises people. A healthy adult makes roughly the same total amount of urine every 24 hours, about 1.5 liters, and that total barely changes as you get older. So it's not that you're suddenly making more urine overall. The question was never how much you make. It's when you make it. In a body that's working right, you make far less urine at night than during the day. You're built to sleep straight through. So the real question of nighttime peeing is this: why did that day-night split break? There are a few main reasons, and only one of them is actually about your bladder. Reason 1, and the biggest of all, a hormone called a DH antidiuretic hormone, also known as vasopressin. Think of a DH as the night shift manager for your kidneys. Its whole job is to tell them, slow down, concentrate the urine, make less of it. In a healthy rhythm, a DH rises at night, right as you go to sleep. Your kidneys get the message, dial down production, and pack your overnight urine into a small, concentrated amount your bladder can easily hold until morning. That's the invisible system that lets a young, healthy person sleep 8 hours without a single trip. But here's what happens with age. That nightly rise in a DH gets weaker, flatter. In many older people, it fades away almost entirely. Without the night shift manager telling them to slow down, your kidneys just keep producing at full daytime rates all night long. So you make a full daytime-style load of urine while you're fast asleep, and your bladder fills and wakes you. Notice, your bladder did exactly its job. It filled up and signaled you. The failure was upstream in the hormone that was supposed to slow the flow. This is why it creeps in with age, and why it's so common the ADH rhythm naturally flattening is one of the quiet changes of getting older. It's not a weak bladder. It's a missing signal. Reason 2 is even more surprising, and it explains something people never connect: your legs. During the day, gravity is constantly pulling fluid down toward your feet and ankles. If your circulation isn't perfect, some of it pools there. This is why your socks leave marks by evening, and why your ankles look a little puffy at the end of the day. That's fluid, parked in your lower legs. Now you lie down flat to sleep. Gravity is gone, and all that pooled fluid slowly drains back into your circulation. Your kidneys suddenly see a flood of returning fluid, and they do exactly what kidneys do. They filter it out as urine. So, a few hours into the night, your body processes the fluid your legs were holding all day, and your bladder fills. This is why people with swollen ankles, poor circulation, or who sit all day so often wake up needing to go. Think about that. The urine that wakes you at 3 a.m. was water sitting in your legs at 3 p.m. Again, not your bladder's fault. Your bladder is just downstream of a plumbing shift you never noticed. And this one has a genuinely useful fix, which we'll get to shortly. Now, reason 3, and this is the one that actually is partly about the bladder itself. As we age, or with an overactive bladder, it can hold a little less before it signals you a smaller nighttime capacity. And in men, an enlarging prostate can squeeze the outlet, so the bladder never fully empties, leaving less room and triggering more trips. So the bladder isn't completely innocent. But notice, even here, it's usually one piece stacked on top of the bigger hormone and fluid story. For most people, most of the volume waking them up is overproduction, not a shrunken bladder. And there's a fourth cause. Almost nobody connects to their bathroom trips, and it's important enough to call out on its own. Sleep apnea. Here's the strange link. When you have sleep apnea, your airway keeps collapsing, and you strain to breathe against a closed throat. That straining creates negative pressure inside your chest, which actually stretches the chambers of your heart. Your heart feels that stretch and thinks, there's too much fluid volume in here. So it releases a hormone that tells your kidneys to dump water and salt. The result, you make more urine at night, purely as a side effect of struggling to breathe. This is why up to half of people with sleep apnea wake to pee, and why treating the apnea can make those nighttime trips disappear. So if you wake to pee and you snore loudly, gasp, or feel exhausted despite a full night, those two symptoms may be the same problem. That's an important doctor conversation. So, step back. 4 different reasons your body floods your bladder at night. A fading ADH signal, fluid draining back from your legs, a smaller or blocked bladder, and sleep apnea. And notice 3 of the 4 have nothing to do with your bladder being weak. They're about how much urine your body makes and when. That's why cutting your water and blaming your bladder so often doesn't fix it. You were treating the wrong end of the problem. So here's what actually helps, and most of it is refreshingly simple. First, fluid timing. Taper your drinks in the last 2 to 3 hours before bed. Not bone dry all evening, just front-load your fluids earlier in the day. And be strict about 2 things at night: alcohol and caffeine. Both push your kidneys to make more urine, right when you least want it. Second, and this is the clever one for the leg fluid problem, get that fluid out of your legs before bed, not during your sleep. Put your legs up for a while in the late afternoon or evening. Compression socks during the day can help too. That way your kidneys process the leg fluid. While you're still awake, you pee it out in the evening instead of at 3 a.m. Third, Ease up on salt in the evening. More salt means your body holds more water to flush out later, often overnight. Fourth, if you take a water pill, a diuretic, ask your doctor about timing it earlier in the day, so its effect is finished before bed. Never change medication on your own. And fifth, the big one. If sleep apnea is in the picture, treating it can resolve the nighttime trips entirely. That starts with getting evaluated. Notice the theme. None of these is about training your bladder. They're all about making less urine at night or moving it earlier. Now, the honest and important part. An occasional nighttime trip, especially if you drank a lot late, is completely normal. This isn't about panic, but regularly waking 2 or more times, or a sudden new change, is worth taking seriously, because nocturia is one of the body's quiet, early signals. It can point to sleep apnea, diabetes, heart or kidney issues, or a prostate problem, all very treatable, but only once they're found. So, if this is you, night after night, see a doctor. A simple diary of when and how much you go tells them a huge amount. Nothing here is medical advice. So the next time it's 3 a.m. and that pressure pulls you out of sleep, don't just blame your bladder and cut your evening water to nothing. Ask the better question. Why is my body making so much urine right now at night? Is my ADH signal fading with age? Is fluid draining out of my legs? Is my salt or my evening drink to blame? Could I be struggling to breathe without knowing it? Because the trip to the bathroom was only ever the symptom. The real story is a hormone, a fluid shift, and a rhythm that quietly slipped. Fix the production, and the trips fade, and you get back the deep, unbroken sleep that was quietly being stolen from you. Your bladder was never the villain. It was just the messenger. And now you know who's really sending the message.